Hey guys, Jonah here, back once again for another beer review. And yeah, I've been drinking a bit of beer over the weekend, visiting Gads and Canterbury Food Festival, where they both had a green hop beers. Um, yeah, not that great in my opinion, not as good as previous years. But hey, I had some other beers, got horrendously well, I wouldn't say drunk, but horrendously tipsy. How about that? Anyway, tis Sunday evening here again, so I'm going to upload this review, see how we do on this one. It is from the Collab Fest. And yeah, as usual, there's no articles. I'm beginning to wonder what articles are in this magazine because it's very, very thin on yeah, on beer content, and I'm not sure why that is. Anywho, the one we are doing today is this one. It's a session IPA. It's Alphabet Brewing and Bad News, who are around here. Yeah, there you go. Bad News Beer Co. And the bad news is it's a session IPA, which is, it means nothing to me. It really does. It's a pale ale, basically, in the new style. There we go, 4.1%. The hops are Equinox, Citra, Mandarina, Bavaria, and Simcoe. And it says a collaboration from Alphabet Brewing Company and Bad News Beer. Easily enough to session, but built to make you rock out. A hazy session IPA with new and old world hops, plus light malts, oats, and wheat. So nothing really exciting there. Brewed in the EU and imported back into the country by Beer 52. So this wasn't actually brewed at either of those breweries, which is absolutely nuts. I have no idea why. Well, Beer 52 have obviously got a contract brew somewhere. They're not even telling us where it is. Personally, I think that is not good. It's bang out of order because I like to know the source um, of my beers. And not very long ago, their Beer 52 was harking on about, oh, really sustainable B Corps and, oh, aren't we ethical and blah, blah, blah. And they're not even telling us where the beer is being made. So I think you guys are very hypocritical, if you ask me. You're not practicing what you preach, which makes you a hypocrite in my book. Anyway, let's see if this is a good beer or not. That's all that matters. And calling it a session IPA has instantly got my back up because it is nonsense. It is not a recognised style. It's a misnomer, um, like a plastic glass, which I had one of the beers today out of. It was a disposable plastic, shall we say. Not the best way to drink great beer. However, better than last year where they charged like £3 for a plastic cup, which is still plastic, and yeah, they wouldn't let you fill up your own vessel. They even at the food and drink festival, there was actually one of those Viking horn cellars. Um, but of course, you had to buy your drink in a plastic and then pour from plastic into your Viking horn. I never quite understand. Well, I guess volume is important, but yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't. It's crazy. Anyway, enough about my nonsense. Let us drink some beer. Luckily, I've not had to go back to the hospital or the doctors because I've been 7 times within the last month. So yeah, not good. Fingers fluffy white head. Look at that, fluffy white clouds, absolutely brilliant. The beer itself, hazy and really light. That is quite a nice colour. I like that one. There's probably not, not any crystal malt in there, which means, is it an actual IPA? Well, no, it isn't, is it? It's a session IPA, so it's not an IPA in any regards. There we go. So yeah, sorry, bad news, and Alphabet Brew, but you guys are, trading on other beers, which is never good, in my opinion. Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of creamy, but kind of in a lagery way. And I believe there's Pilsner malt in here, as well as the oats and wheat and all that kind of nonsense. So that would kind of explain it. There's not too much going on hop-wise either. A sort of generic kind of citrusy thing, but it's not really strong. I guess we're getting a very light amount of the mandarina and the Simcoe, so there's an orange thing there, citrus, but it's very generic and not, unfortunately not very pronounced. So it's definitely not a heavily hopped beer. And at 4.1%, am I expecting too much? Well, yeah, the new style should be heavily hopped, especially if you're calling it an IPA, which of course this is not. I've had pale ales, proper pale ales that have more hop aroma than this one. Anyway, let's dive in. Let's see what we get. Cheers and beers to you. Consider subscribing, click like, all that kind of jazz. Really does help out, but it's up to you. Oh, pardon me. That was a cup of tea. I haven't actually had a beer for about 6 hours or so. Cheers. Quite a lot of carbon dioxide, and yeah, it's borderline hoppy at all. It's almost like I've had a hopped lager reasonably recently that tasted a bit hoppier than this. Um, so it's not very bitter. So the IBUs I'd say are very low. For the I think was it 3 or 4? Let's have a look down here. Sorry, checking my my beer 52 notes. Yeah, 4 hops in here, but I would say there's not much of each. Yes, I'm getting citrus. I am getting the kind of juiciness to some degree. Even the malts used, wheat and oat, usually give, apart from that lovely haziness there, they usually give a bit of creaminess as well. Um, this is not, yeah, it's not obscenely creamy. It's not very hoppy. It's just a light beer, really. A bit watery in the mouthfeel. Um, yeah, generic kind of citrus, orangey, marinery, mandarinery. Um, yeah, but nothing to write home about, I'm afraid. Yeah, they've kind of watered it down a bit too much. Um, this is not an IPA. It cannot be an IPA. It's very hop water like. In fact, a few beers ago that I said I had a very light beer, and it was like almost an alcohol-free beer. And this is very similar. Um, that you can taste the alcohol a little bit in here, so I will give it that. 4.1% is not 3 and a bit or whatever it was. But yeah, I've had a lot hoppier alcohol-free beers, um, especially the ones from Brewdog. And I don't usually like Brewdog as a company. They do very odd things, and they're a bit expensive, I think, for what you get. However, it is what it is. They're there to make money. Um, but yeah, I don't agree with their methods. However, some of their alcohol-free beers, hot water they are, but really hoppy, and it gave me a bit of a surprise. Unfortunately, I'm surprised how lacking this beer is. Um, and if you if you divide through what my subscription costs, you're looking, you know, £3 for a beer. There's no way I would pay for this beer, um, not at these prices. You're paying for the name. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were saying the same thing. Some collaborations, you're paying for the name, and the beer is very mediocre. And unfortunately, that's what's happened here. Let's finish it off though. Maybe it'll get hoppier as I go down the glass. We'll see. Okay, so I'm getting a little pithiness now. Um, so perhaps a tiny bit more bitterness, but nothing to write home with. I wouldn't have thought this is over 30 IBUs. And weirdly, the oats and the wheat that have been put in this work against the bitterness of the hops. So it's there kind of at the beginning, and then the kind of mild creaminess comes through, and it negates some of the bitterness. So yeah, that's not a win. And then the hops that they've put in late, which are going to be the aroma and to some degree the kind of dry hopping, um, yeah, they're not there either. So it's a very, very weak attempt, I'm afraid. I cannot really recommend this beer. It's not good at all. I mean, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not a superbly bad beer. Sorry, I should show you the thing. And there's some. It looks like Einstein as a beer can playing guitar. No idea what that is. The session IPA thing, it continues to annoy me, because it's not an IPA. Not even if it was really hoppy, it still wouldn't be an IPA because it's a session beer. I don't see how people, yeah, can trade hop water under the IPA banner. That makes sense. Very weak, in my opinion. Very weak. We have got some nice sort of lacing, if you like, on the glass. Big lines here, especially down the bottom, which is cool. We have an unbelievable kind of cascade of all sorts of hoppage there. Nothing is really jumping out at me, but it looks like an explosion. Ooh, there's some weird creature of nightmare. In fact, it looks a bit like a. This looks a bit like a sheep. There's his head, there are his legs, and he's sort of rearing up. I'm saying, don't give me any more of this crap. And I would have to agree with that sheep. So there we go, Alphabet Brewing mixed with Bad News Beer Company. And the bad news is that this is a very, very mediocre beer. Not good in my opinion at all. But hey, you cannot win them all. Um, Dear viewer, please enjoy what's left of the weekend. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll return next week for more beer reviews.